So this is the conclusion of the tips and tricks videos, at least in terms of general gameplay, and in this one we're gonna focus on advanced BT6 tips and tricks. So let's begin with the first one, which is that the Berserker Brew buff is proximity based and we can use this to our advantage. This means that the closest tower to your Berserker Brew alchemist will always get the buff first, and here's a simple example of how it works. This is a 300 alchemist and 2 dark monkeys. The left one will always get buffed by the Berserker Brew because it's closer, while the right one will never get it because it's farther away. Now we can use this to our advantage in some situations, like for example a druid spam strategy where even though all of the druids need to be clumped up in one spot to keep buffing each other, the avatar of Rat will always have the brew priority because he's the closest one to the alchemist. Tip number 2 is buffing your towers without Lich healing. Take this run for example, where we're facing a tier 2 Lich. Our Mad is buffed with an alchemist and an overclock, but Lich isn't healing. This is because Lich has a buff search radius of 100 units, meaning that as long as your buff towers are about this far from Lich, he will never be able to steal them and restore HP. Now keep in mind that this only works for tiers 1 to 4, while the tier 5 Lich has a global buff search radius. Tip number 3 is building smart Paragons, and I'm gonna give you guys the TLDR on this one. Let's say we're building a ninja Paragon and we just bought 28024 ninjas worth about $9,000 each. Now this is gonna give us 10,000 power towards our Paragon degree because we went over the 250,000 spending threshold, and an additional 10,000 power because we bought 100 upgrades, which is gonna result in a degree 30 ninja Paragon. Now if you're low on cash, you can buy 25 202 ninjas instead. Each 202 ninja has 4 upgrades, so 2 on the top path and 2 on the bottom, and if you get 25 of them, we're looking at 100 upgrades again and the 10,000 power bonus, but at a much cheaper price of $45,000. This is gonna result in a degree 21. So we spent $214,000 less, but we only got 9 degrees less on the Paragon, and that is how you build a smart Paragon in situations when you're down on cash but you need more damage. Tip number 4 is placing the Tack shooter below the track instead of above it. Now here's an example of having the Tack above the track versus 100 rainbows, and you can see that it leaked some small balloons. But if we place it below it, then nothing leaks. Now the reason it works like that is because the point out of which all the Tacks come out is slightly above the middle of the tower, and if you have it below the track, that point will be quote unquote inside of the track and have more Tacks hit the balloons. I'll be doing some specific tips and tricks videos like boss tips and tricks and maybe some others in the future, but for now, thanks for watching the series. If you guys missed the first 2 parts, here are the links to both of them. As usual, use code ETHEREAD in the Blue Store to help support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.